Well, good morning, folks, and welcome to the February 8th edition of Monday Marketing Minutes. I'm John Turino. I'll be your host this morning. I'm a local consultant here in the Portland area. I help people figure out who their target markets really are, what messages will resonate with those folks, both emotionally and logically, and what media is best for delivering those messages. So if you do have an inquiry about how to do a better job with your marketing strategy, please do give me a call. I am available on a consulting basis. I'm not horribly expensive. I'm not free either. So give me a call and let's chat to see if I can help you. In the meantime, I think this is about the 10th or 11th episode of Monday Marketing Minutes, and I think we finally got most of the technology down. So let's sort of dive right in it here. You will notice that there is a screen, to a blank white screen just underneath my face here on this broadcast. And you will find in that area the chat window for YouTube and the live stream that we're doing. Now, the format for Monday Marketing Minutes is basically the whole purpose behind it is to answer your questions, your burning issues for your marketing strategies and marketing tactics. So the real key is to make sure that you ask questions in real time if you can. So please feel free to use that chat window that's sitting over here in the open white space, and I will keep an eye on that. And if I see a question come in from someone, I will do my darndest to address it either immediately or during the question and answer period. I'm going to be providing you with some marketing advice as we go through the presentation today and some marketing tips. Typically, they're related to that marketing advice, but not always. And then I want to talk a little bit about upcoming guest speaker participation. That has become an issue from really a technology standpoint in trying to get the Monday Marketing Minutes to work as a live stream and use this XSplit broadcaster utility so that we can get the slide up and the chat window up and my beautiful face up for you at the same time. And it prevents me from bringing in a live person the way we would with a Hangout. But with a Hangout, we are restricted to just either a face or a slide, and I don't really like to produce it that way. I really like to produce it in this format. So I'm thinking what we're going to do is change that up a little bit, and I'll talk more about that as we get into the program. But in the meantime, please send your questions for future episodes to me at john@johntorino.com. Remember, there's no H in John. And that way, in the next edition, which will be February 22nd, I can address those questions for you. And meantime, don't forget to use the chat window, the YouTube chat window, to ask your questions in real time. So, with that, I want to talk about today's questions. Remember again, if you don't ask the question, I can't answer it. It really is a critical part of this program. Put them up in real time in that chat window. You can use it now. Your fellow viewers will actually thank you for asking questions in real time. I did a survey a month or so ago to ask what were the important features of Monday Marketing Minutes, and the top three came out to be the advice, the tips, and the real-time questions, which we so far haven't gotten any of. But I also have viewer questions that have come in the meantime, and I will be answering those today. So, today's advice. I had the opportunity not too long ago, a week or so ago, to look at an article that was posted on either Inc. or Business Week. I don't remember exactly where I saw it, but it impressed me. It was a story about Jell-O. I don't know if you know how Jell-O is made, but Jell-O is made from leftover pig's hoofs. So it's not much of a product in terms of what's in it. But Jell-O did some amazing marketing things. Their first thing was to educate their audience. Now, this happened during World War II, when rationing was there and food was hard to come by, and they put out recipes and cookbooks so that people could make use of Jell-O to do all kinds of different things with what little bits of food were available. So they really positioned Jello as a required staple in your kitchen. So you could put fruit in it, and it bulked up the fruit because you had the gelatin around it. They even had some stuff that I saw recipes that included like chicken salad inside Jello. Not something that I would personally like to eat, but in any case, they really positioned it by educating people to the possibilities of the product while reinforcing Jello's place in the kitchen. It was a very, very good move. Now, after the war, things kind of, when the boom started and the economy picked up and food was readily available again, their sales started to slack off. And so they had originally broadcast their message only in print media, in magazines and newspapers, and used the cookbooks and the recipe books. But they expanded to radio and television while both techniques were really in their infancy. And I think we're seeing some of more of that today, even with solopreneurs like myself, where we are looking at clearly YouTube and Hangouts and go to webinars that the big companies were using for have been using for years, but are new to some of us. And we're looking at some new technologies like Periscope, Instagram, and you're going to hear a little bit more about Blab in a few minutes here in this broadcast. So they explored new channels to expand the ability to get their message out. And that's one of the things I help people do here as well is figure out what media is best for delivering your message to your target markets. They also partnered with influencers. They recruited the top talent of the day to create useful content. They had Johnny Carson in a recipe ad. And so they recruited the favorites. They recruited folks like that. And recruiting celebrities is still an awfully good tactic if you can make it happen in today's day and age without costing you an arm and a leg. So remember these kind of three principles when it comes to introducing a product that or a service that you have. Educate your audience, explore new channels, and partner with influencers or affiliates in today's world might be another way to expand your channel, but that doesn't give you the partnering with influence necessarily. But there are ways to do that. For example, joint authorship with a book, or you can pay for celebrity endorsements. Those can happen, but educate your audience, explore new channels, and partner with influencers. Really is what it's all about. Now, when it comes to how you're going to do that, how do I educate my customers? One of your key tools is your blog. If you don't have a blog on your website, I highly recommend that you do get your website developer to include one or add one. If you do your website yourself in WordPress, it's not that difficult to add a blog page. And you can use your blog to educate people on the uses of your product or service and what the benefits are. And really remember, people don't care necessarily what it is you do, they care what you can do for them. So the idea is to make sure that you don't tout features, you tout benefits, the what's in it for me things that need to be there. You can use your blog to inspire people. If you have a message or a service that is designed to inspire people, like I have the Inspiration Now book. So sometimes I'll write an article that tries to inspire people and tries to encourage them to get more inspiration, not only in my book, but in other books that are out there, like The Magic of Believing. And so you can inspire people in your blog, you can get them involved. It's great to ask questions in your blog or put surveys up in your blog to see if you can get your customers and your readers to interact with you. Now, in today's social media world, it is awfully difficult to get people to interact with you. They're in a hurry, they're really skimming things, but a blog gives you a chance to do a little bit more in depth. So if you got the right headline and the right teaser in your social media to get people to your blog, usually you can get them to read the article and perhaps to interact. You can also use your blog to motivate people, to get them to do something. If you remember that all critical call to action that needs to be in all of your posts, either social media or blog posts. So the blog can be very powerful. If you'd like to see what one looks like, go to johnturino.com and click on the blog. I keep an archive of all of the articles all the way back to March of 2012 when I started this little business. And you can see that one or two here and there are promotional in nature. Most are educational in nature. And they really help to get people involved and get them to understand your expertise and what you might be able to bring to their party. Obviously, you're going to want to use your social media to spread the word about your blog, to spread the word about your product, to spread the word about your service. You can not only spread the word about what you do, but you can also educate again using curated content. I subscribe to dozens, if not 100, different sources, all the way from Inc. to Business Week to 50 plus meetups to groups on LinkedIn and groups on Facebook and boards on Pinterest. And when I find something of interest, I normally repost it and put that up on my LinkedIn and my Facebook and my Google Plus, because those kinds of interesting things that might have information that people can use are appreciated by people, and they're much more likely to read my posts if I've posted, for example, 90% useful information or 80% and 10 or 20% promotional stuff. You can also put up your original content, your blog posts, or you can write original uh, social media posts and make original social media videos. And video on social media is very, very popular. It's very likely, much more likely to get something to go viral if it's a video than if it's just a graphic. And in fact, a graphic makes your post much more readable and much more likely to be read than just a text. So when you're using social media to spread the word or curate or putting up curated content that usually has its own image, make sure it picks up the image from the curated content. If you make your own content, watch out for copyright laws. Don't violate those. There are ways to get stock photographs. The best way to make sure you don't infringe on copyrights, take your own pictures. Nobody can complain about the picture you have taken. So you can do that. You can also use your newsletter. If you don't put one out, you might want to think about putting a newsletter out. Again, there are WordPress plugins that you can use to get the news out to people, or you can use a commercial emailing program like Constant Contact or MailChimp or Aweber or Emma or any of those kinds of things. My recommendation is wherever you can, integrate the newsletter function with the lead capturing function, with the customer relationship management function, your CRM and your automation, so that you're not having trouble interfacing between multiple programs on multiple platforms. So if possible, try to put all that stuff together in either one website that does it all or one CRM system that does most of it, so that you can make it easy for you to capture new leads, to respond to customer requests, and to follow up from either events you do online or events you may do in person. So I use a newsletter. I used to do one about every 2 weeks, and it was a very complete newsletter. It took a lot of time to put together. I do a much shorter version now, and it's being reborn for 2016 with a different format. The newest ones will be coming out here very shortly. And to do that, I am actually retiring my old list. And there are emails going out today, tomorrow, and Wednesday to people asking them to opt into a new 2016 list, because if they don't, Wednesday will be the last email they get from me. So you can use a newsletter to get the word out, to educate, to inspire, to involve, and motivate using your blog posts. And those can be reposted in your newsletter to get that message out to people who know you and who have opted into your newsletter and your email list. And use that social media to spread the word. Now, when I originally envisioned the Monday Marketing Minutes, the idea was to include a 5 to 7 minute segment of a guest speaker. And actually, in either the first or the second episode, way back in November of 2015, we were able to bring in a guest speaker as a fellow who came from the UK, and he talked to us about social media for about 5 minutes. He had a very nice graphic. You can find the replay of that episode on YouTube, along with all these episodes of Monday Marketing Minutes. And there's also a whole batch of networking nuggets, which are little 2-minute videos that you can get to. But um, as I mentioned in the beginning of this broadcast, I've been having technological difficulties trying to find the right platform to do this. But I've been experimenting with a new platform called Blab, B-L-A-B, and you can get to that platform at blab.im. What Blab does is it brings up as many as 4 people in 4 squares. Looks like Hollywood squares, except only 4 squares. But the format is more like a talk show. So you become the host. Typically, you're in the upper left. And then additional people can either watch or they can actually join and request a seat at the Blab table. And you can add 3 people at a time so that they can contribute their information. So my thought was I would start some of these Blabs and I would record them because you can do that. And I would posit various topics out there. And typically you'll get anywhere from, I don't know, 3 or 4 people watching or contributing to 3 or 400 people. Some blabs, if they're really popular, get thousands watching. And the waiting list to become one of the people that's seen and heard is it can be very exclusive. But for the majority of us, it's kind of like your own Ellen DeGeneres show or your own The Talk or The Chew. So I'm going to start some of those things on various topics, and I'm going to record them, and then I'll download the videos and edit it to the pieces that look like they would be of most interest to you, and bring them down to a few minutes. And I'm going to put those in instead of of actually trying to get people in live broadcasts as part of this. And so I think that will be a more effective way to bring you information from other people who may be experiencing the same issues and the same problems that you are, without the technological issues, and getting them in a more timely manner. So watch future episodes of Monday Marketing Minutes to see how I progress in getting that done for you. I will be announcing the new episodes. They are every other week on Mondays at 9 a.m. The newsletter and the calendar will also have those events listed. My calendar on the website is johnturino.com/calendar, and there's 2. There's a subscription event calendar, which you have to pay for. It's $5 a month. But I curate information from dozens of different operations to help you figure out which are the best networking events for you to go to. And it'll save you way more in time than the $5 a month will cost you. So go to the calendar and subscribe there. And please subscribe to my new emailing list. This is, again, the old one's going away this Wednesday. If you want information from me via email, including the new format newsletter that'll be coming out soon, you can subscribe to that. The link is here in purple there on your screen. It is http:// and then eepurl.com/BLO capital CKF. That's the link to MailChimp, which is the platform I'm using at the present time for my email list. So if you want to get information, please do sign up there, subscribe on that mailing list, and you'll get future information and future newsletters. So we're going to see how that works, and hopefully it will be of use to all of us. The questions that came in over the past couple of weeks, and again, I'm looking up here at the chat box. I don't see anything in real time. So let's talk a little bit about the questions that did come in from viewers of past episodes. One of them said, how do I take advantage of groups on social media? Now, if you haven't explored groups on LinkedIn or on Facebook or communities on Google+, I encourage you to do so. You may find that it's a great way to get your message out, get the education and the motivation out to people. because you will find that you can get to people either with common interests that you share with them or with interests that what you provide in product or service would help those kind of people with those kinds of interests. So you can search on Facebook and you can search on LinkedIn by keyword, by business title on LinkedIn, for example, or by topic on Facebook and on Google Plus, and find people who have the kinds of interests that you would want to address. Now, again, I've talked in the networking courses about networking with prospects and not with peers. You can also find groups of peers, and there's nothing wrong with joining those groups as well. Again, I'd use the 80-20 rule: 80% prospects, 10 or 20% of peers. You want to keep up on what's going on in your industry, but in general, you want to see what's trending in the people who might be able to use your product or service so that when you craft your messages, those messages will resonate with the current and future needs of the people that belong to those groups. So search for the groups on Facebook, search for the groups on LinkedIn, and join those groups. Many joining is a simple matter of one click. Others require you to enter some information about yourself, and still others are closed groups where they actually have to approve you. But in general, you can get into most of the groups that you would like to get into. Now, once you're in those groups and you're in social media, the next question becomes, how do I save time posting my social media accounts? I mean, I have discovered that social media can be a tremendous time sink. It eats up time at an incredible rate. So if you use tools to automate that, and a couple of them that come to mind off the top of my head are Buffer and Hootsuite, these kinds of tools let you put up a post, and with that, you can then schedule it to go out to anywhere from 1 to 3 social media links if you want to use, for example, Hootsuite's free version, or up to 10 or 20 or 30 different links if you are willing to pay the modest monthly fee that Buffer and Hootsuite charge. That fee in general will save you way more time than the fee is actually costing you. So the value is there. And that way you can post to multiple platforms, one just doing it once and telling it which platforms you want your things to go out on. Another advantage to using those kinds of automation tools is that you can schedule things for the future. So you could sit down for, say, a half a day at the beginning of each month or each week, depending on how often you post, and you could put together a whole week's worth or a whole month's worth of posts and schedule those at the best times to have them delivered. And there are ways to find that out. Some of the programs will actually recommend times for you. Others, there are plenty of infographics. I have a couple of them up on Pinterest that tell you what the best times to post on LinkedIn and Facebook and tweeting on Twitter and stuff like that are. So you can actually save a lot of time by using one of these tools to basically automate your postings. And I found it, I use Hootsuite, but there are others that people rave about. Buffer, I've heard good things about. So you might want to explore those, and it can save you a lot of time in dealing with your social media. Another question I've heard often is, should I buy likes for my Facebook account? Well, the answer to that, I guess, is it depends. But in general, I don't recommend spending money trying to buy likes for your Facebook accounts or your Facebook pages. If you build a business page, which I do recommend doing, the idea is to use your other social media and newsletter and email list information to get people to come and like that page. I used the buying like approach a couple of years ago to try to get some additional likes to my pages. Uh, I got all those likes, but they're not people who care. They're people who get paid to like pages. So they're not likely to be good customers for you, and they skew your analytics. They make it much more difficult to be able to measure your marketing. And if you can't measure your marketing, you're in deep trouble because you'll never know what works and what doesn't work if you don't have the Google Analytics or the Facebook Insights or the statistics from LinkedIn, and you don't look at those on a regular basis to see what works and see what doesn't work. So, in general, with few exceptions, I would say don't spend money, don't waste money on buying likes for your Facebook account or your Facebook pages. It's not worth it. They're not the right kind of people. They're not going to do you any good at all. So, again, I don't see any questions up here on the real-time questions. So we're pretty well at the end of the tips and advice and the viewer questions. If you want more information on marketing strategies and tactics, I do encourage you to visit my website, johnturino.com, and on there, you will find the subscription event calendar, which I mentioned earlier. You'll find my blog on there, and many of those blog posts, even the ones that are a few years old, I think you'll find are very worthwhile. Every once in a while, I go in and repost a bunch of those here and there. I probably will do that again this coming week. You will find links to online courses and ebooks and presentations. Many of those are free. Some of them I charge for, and some are on other platforms. For example, the newest networking necessities, niceties, and no-nos course I just put up on udemy.com. It's 41 minutes of high quality, high definition video and audio with 70% new content that wasn't in the free 11-minute tutorial that I had up on SlideShare, which I have removed, obviously. So you can find things like that. There's how to develop a marketing plan. That's a 3-year-old course that people have given very high ratings to. It's up on Udemy as well. If you make presentations, you might want to look at Presentations That Persuade. I do charge for that one along with the Piano Story book, but I think Presentations That Persuade is like $4.95 and the Piano Story book is $3. And there are others like Marketing Strategy Development and a few others that are free. Just request them and I will send them to you. There are links to the A to Z blog book on Amazon and Kindle, and to Inspiration Now, so you can buy those at Amazon or Kindle. There are worksheets to help you with your marketing strategy planning and your marketing tactics planning. Those are available on my website. I think they're also $4.95. They're fillable PDFs that can really help you develop a marketing plan that not only has the strategic information, but also has the tactical information, and make sure that you really identified your target markets, figured out what messages will resonate with them, and decided which media is best for delivering those messages. So I try on that website to provide lots of resources and links that are of value to you. There are links to a great many organizations, government and business, that you might want to take a look at. Some of them networking organizations, some of them resources. So take some time and explore johnturino.com. I think you'll find some interesting information there and the information you can use. So that's it for today. The survey I sent out a few weeks ago or a month ago or so did say the optimal time for these broadcasts was 20 to 30 minutes. We are at, it looks like, about minute 28. So I'm going to wrap it up. Again, I didn't get any real live questions here. That's, I think, been pretty typical. But please, if you have questions for the next episode on February 22nd, send them to me at john@johnturino.com, and I'll be happy to address them. This whole program is designed to provide value to you, to provide you with advice and tips that you can use in your business and to answer your questions without charge. So I hope you found today's episode valuable to you. I hope you enjoyed the information and it will be useful for you. I look forward to seeing you back here on February 22nd for our next episode of Monday Marketing Minutes. I will post the event on YouTube. I will post it on Facebook and LinkedIn and Google+, and I'll put it in the newsletter. Again, I advise you, if you're current subscriber to my list to watch your email and subscribe to the new list, because the last email to the public goes out on Wednesday of this week, on the 10th. After that, that list will be retired, and nobody on that list, unless they've opted into the new list, will get any future emails. So, it's a beautiful Monday here in the Portland, Oregon area. The sun is out. It's going to get close to 60 degrees. It's going to stay that way for a couple days before our normal rain cloud pattern kicks back in. But in any case, thank you so much for spending some time with me on Monday Marketing Minutes, whether it's real time or whether you're watching a replay. And have a great Monday. Have a great week. And I wish you the best of success in your business. Thanks.